Coach Steve, you should have told me I looked like this. Didn't really take a look at what I looked like in the camera until there's nobody else in the screen. Hello. This is really what I look like right now. Okay, very quickly I started to get old. I was early to mid 40s, and I'm like, damn, people are like, you look like you're 35. Now I look like I'm 50. What do they call it? Crow's feet on that side? I'm still beautiful. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Gonna have fun for the next hour or so. Not a lot of subjects. Got this Temple University scandal, possible basketball scandal that's going on in a second. An update on the Eagles and like a primer for the weekend of the NFL before free agency. And then I want to play Unpopular Opinion. And we'll do all that coming up in a second. If you didn't hear the story, and I don't know, I don't really I'm not listening to a lot of sports radio these days because I'm not in the car. So I don't know what people are talking about, but the story came out, I guess it was prior to tip-off last night where it kind of came out. And then I don't remember if I saw it later last night or this morning, but I actually saw Howard Eskin had tweeted it out originally. So and I went to Temple. I grew up. I was a huge Temple fan. I remember vividly Villanova winning in '85, and I like that. But the 87-88 Temple team with Howie Evans and Mike Vrieswick and Mark Macon was a freshman, and Ramon Rivas and Tim Perry. I love that team. They lost to to Billy King and Duke in the Elite Eight. They were number one for a lot of the season. I love that Temple team. I love John Chaney more than almost any other athlete or coach in this town. It's like Larry Boa, John Chaney. Like to me, like they're excellence when it comes to Philadelphia as being a true Philadelphia lifer. It's been doing it forever. But I mean, Temple has been good in a long time. Fran came in and Fran Duffy came in, and like he did a respectable job. They were in the tournament, but they really went from being under John Chaney, not an elite program, but damn near it. And Temple would probably still be where they were going to be anyway. It's the nature of college basketball. But I remember Temple being a team that was a threat to go to the Final Four pretty much every year, even though they never went to a Final Four. And they've been brutal. And I didn't even know who this new coach was. I didn't even know his name until I still don't know his name off the top of my head now, but tells you I really don't pay attention anymore. But so Howard tweeted this out last night. He said, unusual and interesting betting activity on the UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, Temple basketball game tonight. The game opened as UAB a 2 or 2.5 point favorite. Then at 1:30, the betting activity went crazy and the line moved up to 8 in some books. The sports books that reported the activity to the U.S. Integrity, which monitors sportsbook betting stuff. And UAB killed Temple. So here's what happened. And we find out later that they've already been looking at them. So there's this company called U.S. Integrity. They're a gambling watchdog company. So in other words, a lot of the NFL players that have gotten caught just for using their phone at the team facility on the Wi-Fi and placing bets, and some of the other guys that did other things. But this company literally is looking and trying to catch players betting because this is the only thing that can stop. The only thing that can stop the NFL is if people think that games are fixed. And they need to make sure that there aren't any players that are doing any kind of that shit, because then that's when they can lose it. So all the leagues are doing that, as they should be. And U.S. Integrity sent out an alert saying, hey, unusual wagering activity on this game. A lot of books flagged it. Other books just put it all the way up to 7 or 8 points. A basketball line doesn't go from 1.5 to 7 or 8 the day of the game unless there's an injury or a suspension or something major like that. None of that happened. No one was coming back for UAB. No one was out of the lineup for Temple. So when something like this happens, there's a reason. Later on, and this is Pat Forty now of Sports Illustrated, formerly of ESPN. This is what he says in his post. A source in the gambling space says U.S. Integrity has been monitoring Temple games for a while. So this isn't the first infraction. They're clearly been looking at it. So if a source, and it's a source, but still it's somebody telling a longtime college basketball writer and college athletics writer that Yeah, like they've been looking at Temple for a while. So Loyola down in Maryland, they just had something going after that, just in the last couple hours here, where a player was removed from the team after it didn't say if they figured it out or this company did, but again, there was an inquiry of unusual wagering activity, and through an investigation, I don't know who it was from, someone on the team got caught. Now, it doesn't say what they're wagering on, but the team just finished their season. They were 7-25. So if you're playing for a 7-25 team, or maybe a 5-24 team at the time, isn't it a little bit easier to make some wagers? You're a college kid, and somebody from home says to you, like, "Hey, we can make 50 grand. You guys aren't winning this game anyway, right?" And who notices? Your team sucks. They expect you to lose games and suck like that. So you just suck a little bit more. I don't know what happened in this situation. I don't know what happened to Temple. I'm just saying we're being naive if we don't think that we should be expecting to see these things. You're being naive. In the pros, Donaghy showed you how easy it was for him to do it as an official. Easy. Because every call, they could call a foul on any play almost, because they do. When they want to call fouls, they call fouls. That's what they want to do. Like if they decide they want to call a foul, they're going to call a foul. It doesn't really matter if there's a foul or not. Donaghy was able to do it easy. He got greedy. So that's what happens. You get greedy. And college kids, players from professional leagues, like the college kids we should be expecting. You see something like this. So we'll see where this goes from here. This feels like, to me, this could be something big. If there's a company that's monitoring or supposed to monitor this type of gambling stuff, and they've been monitoring Temple games for a while, that's not good. But again, I think this is something that we should maybe prepare ourselves for, especially with the collegiate kids, with the college kids. As we welcome Steve from Delco Steve on the line right now, who,
What up?
when he was playing hockey in high school, he was wagering on the games just illegally through a book, not on a sports book. What's up, Delco Steve?
That would have been easy for me to throw games because since I was the goalie.
No, seriously, how easy can you see this happening for? I won't even just say specifically Temple, just a random college that isn't very good towards the end of the season. They're just waiting for the games to finish anyway. They don't care. They know they're not going to any postseason tournament. Maybe they're transferring. Maybe they're a senior and they don't give a shit. Maybe they don't like the coach because the coach is a real a-hole, right? How easy is it to say, you know what, we're going to lose anyway. Let's lose by 20 instead of 10.
I don't think you would ever see this at like a Alabama, LSU type, or in any sport really. But for a lower level, yeah, why not? D2, they have D2. Like, you ever watch Bad Beats on Scott Van Pelt, ESPN?
Yeah.
It's like there's wagering on all those games that they look like they're playing in high school gyms. So you're telling me that you could throw a game in that situation and anyone's really going to notice? It's worth a shot.
What but it was that Alabama. The coach got nailed. The Alabama head coach got nailed because wasn't he given? He was a baseball coach. He was giving info to somebody who was then placing the bets.
I missed that one.
Yeah, what was? I'm trying to find it real fast.
But it's baseball. You can't think about these programs that have all the eyeballs on them being where something like this would happen. But programs where no one's paying attention, like, you can't tell me this doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, so he communicated through an encrypted message app with an unnamed person he knew who was engaging in sports betting activity, providing the person with insider information about the starting lineup before notifying the opposing team. One text was, whatever the student athlete's name was, is out for sure. Let me know when I can tell the opposing team. Hurry.
Oh, Jesus. That's bad.
Shortly after the bettor received the info, the NCAA's investigation found the person attempted to place a $100,000 wager on Alabama.
Oh,
but the sportsbook limited him to $15,000 and declined his attempts to place additional bets due to suspicious activity. See, that's getting greedy. If they would have put $5,000 on it, they would have been like, "Why are you betting $5,000 in Alabama?" They're not conducting an investigation over it.
Nope.
$100,000 for an Alabama baseball game. Wow.
You gotta know when to push your chips in.
Oh my God. Yeah, and that's what happens. You get greedy. You don't, and some of these guys just maybe don't realize that they're being monitored. You just can't place a. If there's a $10,000 bet on Temple, how many bets are $10,000 bets are on Temple? So that's going to raise suspicions when people look at that. And I'm just bringing up arbitrary numbers because I really don't know. But you know what I mean? Like if it's something that's abnormal.
I think you're right with the 10,000. I think if you bet wager like 9,999, you're less likely to get flagged for anything.
And then the 10 is like, whoa, 10,000 on Temple.
Oh, let's take a peek at that.
Yeah.
They've never bet five figures before. What the hell just happened?
So I'll be really curious to see where this goes from here, and if it, like, man, you would hope that you would hate to have kids that were playing on the team betting them to lose. Because they're not going to do it. They just have a buddy or a middleman or somebody that's doing it, but it's easily connected. They're doing
and they're getting kickback. They're getting kickback anyway, so it's pretty much like they're doing it.
Well, dude, the coach was trying to use an app instead of his cell phone to try to get around it. He should have gotten a burner phone, like he's on the Sopranos or something.
Like The Wire. Come on, it was teed up for you, man. It was teed up for you.
But see, I haven't watched The Wire in probably 10 years. All right, maybe not 10 years.
Almost on season 1. Got one episode left.
One? So how are we? How we've one episode left. Good? Not good?
Oh, I'm hooked.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm hooked.
Yeah, for me, season 1 was even the best.
Oh, really?
Nah, definitely not. They're all different.
Oh, well,
and that's why they're good, because
something to look forward to then.
They all have they all have a different twist with different locations and same city, Baltimore, but they all just have it's a different personality for each one. The last season was terrible, but whatever. Like that happens a lot on good shows.
Every good show is a terrible last season.
Those first 4 seasons were as good as any TV I've ever seen, for sure. I would take Sopranos over The Wire, but it's not by much. Love the show, but also my buddy Dave Travato, who runs ABC Media. He's the advertising agent for clients like Dr. Glatt and Mark's Jewelers. A lot of people that I worked with. I've known Dave a long time. He was an actor in The Wire. He was on.
Oh, really?
I don't know how many episodes. Hold on, I gotta. Yeah, he played, and you probably, unless you're a Ike knew who he was. Ike's seen The Wire that many times where he knows each character.
Yeah, I'm terrible with these names right now.
He was Lieutenant Cantrell, who was on. He was on a couple. It was more than it was a couple of episodes. It wasn't double digits. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm brutal with these names right now. There's too many.
I don't honestly even. He was in 3 episodes total, but like that's awesome. He was Major Cantrell, and then he became Lieutenant Cantrell. So it's just knowing somebody was on the show is really, really cool. Because then when I go back and I watch it, I'll be like, "Holy shit, that's Dave."
It's like the Leo meme. Ooh.
He was also on Law and Order. He was on an episode of Law and Order.
Was he a dead body?
He was on 5. No, he's in 5 episodes of Homicide: Life on the Street as Officer Grohl.
Oh, that's a terrible name.
It is. Episode of so he was in the he liked the cop shows. Well, there you go.
He had a shtick.
He certainly did. He was typecasted, as they say in the business. Well, there you go. All right, the Eagles, and so we know the draft is coming up. Free agency starts next week, but the comp picks came out today for what they're going to get. So they get 4 comp picks for the draft. So it's free agent losses. Depending on who you add and who you lose, it's a formula. But so from there, they award comp picks. So they got a 3rd, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. So they didn't have a 3rd round draft pick next year. So now they have one, number 97 overall. So they put him at the back of the round. So a comp pick in the 3rd round really is like the top of the 4th round. It just waters down the draft a little bit more because there's more picks that are out there, which is fine with me. I love more picks. It's awesome. So and then they have three 5th round draft picks that they'll use. You know what they'll do? They'll package a bunch of draft picks. They'll move up. They'll move down. They'll do everything else, and that's it. So Yeah, so here's where you're picking now, Steve. First round, 22nd overall. Feel good about that one? Like, eh?
Oh, I'm never confident when Howie's drafted.
No, not down there. I'm not.
No, I'm not even confident if he's in the top 5.
But so okay, just to be fair, Devontae he maneuvered that. I feel like he got a little bit lucky that he was able to get back up there and get Devontae Smith. But that year he was able to trade back, get additional picks, trade back up, and get your player. Just trying to think. Jalen Carter was a no-brainer at that spot. Like, I don't want to give him credit for it, but he took the obvious pick.
Anyone could have did that. Anyone could have overlooked his issues and been like, "Oh, I'll take the best player in the draft at 9."
Right, I could have done that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what I say about a lot of these picks. If the pick's done for you, they didn't have to work. Like, Bijan Robinson was off the board. They weren't going to take him, but they also didn't have to have any negative. You know what I mean? Like, there was no people, the idiots out there that were like, "You take Bijan, what are you doing?" They can't yell at you about that now.
Right.
All right. So Jordan Davis, 13th overall. They moved up to get him. Do you like that pick?
No. I mean, I like Jordan Davis, but I liked other picks better. I think we talked about this before. I would have taken Kyle Hamilton for sure.
All right, Jordan Davis, Kyle Hamilton goes the pick later. Oh God.
Yep. So you want to get to the best one?
McDuffie?
No, go back another year.
All right, let me see. Devontae or what? Micah Parsons?
No. Oh, sorry. One more. Justin Jefferson.
Rager
over Justin Jefferson.
I almost have to take that now off the board as just spilled milk, and I can't even worry about that right now. But you're right.
Oh, Jefferson. That was a stacked wide receiver class. You think about the receivers that are in that class. You got Henry Ruggs. Obviously, he flamed out, but he was still better than Jalen Reagor. Then you had CeeDee Lamb. You had Jerry Jeudy, Jefferson, Ayuk. I mean, obviously, you could have had Jefferson or Ayuk. It's just
I think Ayuk's really good.
I love Ayuk. I think he's a stud.
I do too. Yeah. It's similar to the Freddie Mitchell draft where they passed up on Steve Smith was in that draft. Chad Johnson was in that draft. There's another Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne was in that draft. And they took Freddie Mitchell. They took the wrong wide receiver. This organization, through head coaches and through general managers and everything else, they've struggled to develop wide receivers. They struggled to develop cornerbacks, to draft and develop cornerbacks. They just haven't. So you got to go out in free agency and get him. Troy Vincent was a free agent signing in '94, and he was amazing. Troy Vincent. He was a top 10 pick, too. Eric Allen was a draft pick. That was in the 80s, right? So it's like Bobby Taylor was a second-round draft pick. You're going 20 years. You were talking about that.
The last good corners are probably Lito and Sheldon Brown.
Jalen Mills in the 7th round.
Yeah, he was fine.
I know he was fine. Exactly. He wasn't you don't ever think of him as being
and Maddox was fine.
Yeah, for being a mid-round pick, he was okay for a couple years. Yeah, but what starter have they drafted in? And that's why I want to say Jalen Mills because they have he actually, if you look at their drafted corners, he's like the shining star of it.
Right, recently. And he lasted 5 years as a above average corner.
How long did he last?
I'm not even saying with us, just in the league. I'm just saying just in the league.
Yeah, when did they? So he was 2016. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. He moved to safety with the Patriots. I think they put him back at corner this year. They really like him.
They flipped him back and forth a couple times throughout his
they really actually like him up there. Belichick liked him a lot. But they also play a different defense than the Eagles are playing. They're not playing a man defense where he gets put out there on an island trying to cover somebody. So I'm sure they like him right there. All right, and I'll agree with you, Steve. I hate being in the 20s with Howie.
Because that's where you get where his best player available isn't anywhere close to potentially what's
it becomes harder to evaluate when you get down there. The picks a lot of times are made for you if you just go chalk in the first 10 picks, right?
I'm gonna bring when they drafted Andre Dillard, there was the tackle for the Texans. I'm blanking on his name, but Dillard was projected to be an early second, and the kid that Houston took, he was raw, but they were saying he was going to be the best of the offensive linemen in no time. I think Titus Howard, I think is his name. And
Titus Howard went 23rd. He went the pick after, yeah.
Right. And it's just like, all right, well, if you're going to take an offensive lineman, take the one that everyone thinks is a potential stud, not the one that hasn't had a run blocking play in 4 years of college, pretty much.
But he also slid. He was expected to go higher. Remember, they didn't even have an interview with him because they didn't think he would be there. And then when he slid, that's when they took them. They're like, we can't pass this up. And then you see what happened.
He was terrible.
I think he was terrible this year in
Tennessee.
Yeah, was it even this year? How long has he been gone for? Was this his first year not being here?
No, it's his second.
Second, all right. There you go. All right, so then you got two in the second round. I actually really I love this. So they got the Saints second round draft pick. Remember that draft trade that they made where the Saints moved up or they took one of their first round draft picks?
We swapped our first round picks with them, and then we traded one of our third first round pick of that draft and swapped for third pick the next year. So we
got an extra first and an extra second.
Correct.
So that's 50th overall, and then you have your own at 53. So you look right there. That's two players, and I'm not even looking at that to try to trade up. I sit there and take your two best defensive players or your two best players, 50 and 53. Go out and get a running back. Go out and get a wide receiver. Go out and get a cornerback. Go out and get a player. Go out and get a skill player. Don't give me these offensive linemen in the second round, right? Go out and get some skill players. Maybe they take a lineman in the first round. Maybe they trade back in the first round. They try to get three players that are right there in the second round type. So, man, free agency is going to be wild, man.
I think what I was reading, the first round is going to be predominantly offense, like potentially 20 picks.
So Dillard's first year, says Vince, first year not here was this year. Well, this past season.
Right.
All right. Well,
I think he got hurt too this year.
I just remember reading something and then being like, yeah, this guy's not very good. Like, yep, I could have told you that. Oh, well, there you go. All right.
I want my offensive lineman out of the SEC. That's if I'm drafting offensive lineman.
All right. At 22, what are you drafting? Let's hear it. Without knowing who's going to be there or whatever, just by position.
Well, it's like, obviously you're going to go to linebacker or corner, but they're not taking a linebacker. Like, you just know it's not going to happen.
But why can't you buck the trend? Why can't this be the year that you do it? They're just never going to do it? Jerry Robinson's going to live in infamy forever?
I think so. Well, at least until Howie's gone. They're just never going to they're never going to value it. I think you definitely need an edge rusher. Sweat isn't good enough to just do it by himself. Graham's getting old. You need to reinforce the defensive line. If they go lineman, I hope it's D-line, but I don't know who's going to be there for at this point. Because like I was just saying, a lot of the first round grades are for offensive players.
I'm going through all the random ones here, right here. Charles Davis, Chop Robinson from Penn State, who doesn't get sacked, but he doesn't get sacked, but he does everything else.
I was literally just like, I say I want a defensive edge rusher, and he's like the one I don't want.
Didn't he have 5.5 sacks in 2 years?
Something like that. He just blew up. He just tested off the charts at the combine.
Yeah, he ran a 4.48 40. Yeah.
I don't know. See, the combine guys that don't have production behind it, like they worry me. Like,
but some of the analytics of Chop Robinson will lead you to believe that it was like his pressure rate. He got to the quarterback. He just didn't get the quarterback down. But as far as pressuring the quarterback or how fast he got there, he was supposedly good. Now, I watched Penn State games. He never jumped out to me. Yeah,
wasn't that the same thing with Trayvon Walker that they took him over Adrian Hutchinson? It's like, that doesn't look too good.
Doesn't Chop Robinson have 5 sacks, and then you're still always waiting for him to take that next jump, and then he never does because you're always wowed by his raw physical skills, and when he does get to the quarterback, it's a thing of beauty.
And then, or the year he does pop off, it's the year after you don't take his option, and then he goes bananas in his 4th year, and you have to pay him a shit ton of money.
Yeah, you're right. You overpay him, and then you're mad the whole time that you overpay him. No, you're right. That's what I don't want. I don't want that. I'd rather have an offensive lineman that's a good starter than have some defensive end that has this elite skill set but never gets to a freaking quarterback. I'm out. I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm not in on the potential It's like, oh, look at the potential, look at the potential. But if you never see it come to fruition, that's the worst frustration you can have.
Mike Mamula, and Mike's a really good dude. I've done a bunch of Miller Lite stuff with him over the last couple of years. He was, if you go back and you look, he obviously didn't live up to the draft pick where he was drafted. You traded up and Warren Sapp was on the board, but they weren't going to take Warren Sapp regardless. He was off their board because of failed drug tests or whatever. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm telling you, he was off a lot of guys' boards. Like Mamola just wasn't. He had a great combine. He's the first combine warrior. The raw physical stuff. Chop Robinson's always had these great measurables and speed and 258 pounds, runs a 4.48. Anyway, all right. So Chop Robinson, you'd be no. Cooper Dijon from Iowa, cornerback.
I don't even know who that is. I didn't watch too many. I didn't watch too many Iowa games this year. They were brutal.
Do you remember the one at the Iowa Rutgers game? I think the over under was like 7 or something.
It was 20. It was 23.5 or something like that.
It went under.
Yep. There was one weekend they played at Wrigley, I think, and they scored less points than the baseball game.
Yeah, I remember it.
It was,
yeah, I have friends that went to the University of Iowa and are from Iowa, and they're big Iowa football fans and Big Ten fans. So I know that when I see them, I can always talk to the husband Bill about them. And yeah, like because the son was the offensive coordinator of Iowa. What's the Kirk Ferentz? It's his son, so it's nepotism. So it's like, oh yeah, my son's the most qualified offensive coordinator. Hey, guy sucks.
He got fired because there was a stipulation in his contract that he had to average so many points per game,
or he'd get fired. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it was a good way of getting him out. Kool-Aid Ministry from Alabama.
I've heard good things about
McKinstry.
I just looked up Cooper Dijon on one of the things I follow, and it says huge playmaking ability. So I like that. That's if you're going to stand out, that's my kind of thing. I don't want safe. Good.
No, here's another Chop Robinson. So you don't want safe. You want special skill set.
Yes. I don't want I want someone that's going to pop off the page more so than, all right, they're good. We don't have to worry about them, but they're never going to be the best player. I want the potential best player.
And is that specifically at 22?
No,
you know what I mean?
If you're in that, or let's put it like this, if you're in the top 5, I'm taking probably the best of the top 5 guys that you know what you're getting.
Easy pick. It's an easy pick.
Exactly. I'm not taking the potential guy over I know this guy's a 5-star guy. But if you're 22, I'll take a shot. I'll take a shot on the guy that can be the best player in the draft potentially over the guy that's, he's going to give me 22 production.
And that might be why you see a lot of, obviously the further you get from the top pick, there's a reason why, right? But
yeah,
I agree with you. I think teams, Chop Robinson's a perfect example. That's how he's going to get drafted where he's going to get drafted. You're drafting on potential. You're not drafting on anything he's done on the field for the most part. And I would honestly, with this team, I think they need some B players. Yeah, they need an A. They need an A player on defense. No question about it. It'd be great to get an A linebacker. They're going to have to do it further down the draft. Maybe that's what you get with one of these second-round draft picks. Maybe it is Trot Jr. that they get. But this team needs a B or a B plus. They need B or B plus players right now. That's to me, your core is getting a little bit too old, and you don't have a lot of young players that are coming up that are going to be good players.
Ready to take those spots.
Who's their best outside of the defensive line, and they're going to pretty much be the starters anyway. Who are the good young players on this team? I guess Devontae has to be considered, but he's entering his second contract.
You got Devontae, Cam Jurgens. That's about it on offense.
Right. Goddard's on his second contract.
Yep.
AJ isn't old, but he's on his second contract.
Right.
You can't consider him young. I mean, this is also guys that aren't making a lot of money that need to be.
Did they pay Dickerson yet?
He's a good player. He's going to make a lot of money too.
He's a great guard. Great.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's going to make a lot of money too. So they know that they're going to have to gonna have to buck up for him. So all right, well, listen, we'll see what they do on Monday.
I want my Florida State boy if he drops Jared Verse.
Who's that? I didn't start paying attention to a lot of these guys yet.
He's an edge guy. He was
edge rusher.
Yeah, he was a transfer 2 years ago from Buffalo. What I'd like the my God, the
University of Buffalo.
Yeah, like they're like the step down from the Power 5. And then he came to Florida State and led the team in sacks 2 years in a row, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I love the transfer portal for a lot of these kids, because they deserve to be able to go somewhere. If they're under recruited, they don't have to play their whole career in Buffalo. You can leave and go somewhere else. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome for the kids. All right, so I just want to look at it one more. Another Chop Robinson. Oh my God, it's like 4 in a row. Chop Robinson.
Yeah, the one I'm looking at has Kool-Aid.
I think he's going to be a second round pick. I don't think he's going to be drafted in the first round. There's some questions about his health.
He's got the Jones fracture in his foot.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him. So he may be there's always these players that slip pretty big, slip a full round. So
I have freaking nightmares about Sidney Jones, that pick.
Yeah, Sidney Jones.
It
was worth the wait.
I wanted Dalvin Cook so bad. I'm like, oh, they're gonna get him. They're gonna take him. And then the Vikings
remember they could have traded up
in front of him.
They could have traded up and got him.
Yep.
They didn't want to give up a third round pick.
Yep.
And they drafted.
Well, they drafted Derek Barnett in the first round at 14. And at the time, originally Dalvin was projected to go in the middle of the first round.
Right.
So I'm like, just give him to me there. Fine. I don't care about the running back stigma. And then in the second that he drops, it's like, go get him. Just go get him. And then we get Sidney
Jones. Was that Donnell Pumphrey, or was Donnell Pumphrey long before that?
I think it was the same draft, but that he was they took him in the 4th round.
Yeah, I know it was later, but
I'm pretty sure it was the same draft. Yeah.
Do you remember Deuce Staley? Deuce Staley apparently promised his grandmom that they would take him if he was there, or
I hate Deuce Staley as a coach. I don't know why.
We can add that. We're gonna play unpopular opinion right now, so we can add that right now. Unpopular opinion. That is an unpopular opinion.
He irks my soul.
Is he too much of a dick, or like too much of a tough guy, or why?
My thing is, it's like I lost interest in him when he started crying for the offensive coordinator job and didn't get it. And then he was just like pouting and moaning about it. It's like, well, if you were good, somebody else would have given you an offensive coordinator job. Like, you didn't have to wait for us to give you one. There's a reason no other team has given him an offensive coordinator job.
Yeah, I mean, he went to Carolina with Frank. He was in Detroit before that. Where is he? Where is he now? He just got hired by
Cleveland.
Yeah, he's Cleveland. Yeah, he'll always be in high demand for the assistant head coach. I mean, I used to answer this on the air and say teams don't seem like they want to make Deuce the offensive coordinator. Ike's friends with him. You know what I mean? And he's just like teams want to hire the guy that they think can give them the best chance to win. So like, I'm not going to say there's some conspiracy against Deuce Staley of getting a job for whatever reason. Either he doesn't interview well or whatever. Teams don't want to do it. I know Eric Bieniemy. Everybody wants to know why he never got a head coaching job. Listen, if I hear or see people say, is race involved? It's hard for me not to say, like, you should have that discussion. You should have that suspicion, especially if you're a person of color. Sorry. All the winning that he did, Doug got a job. Matt Nagy got a job. Offensive coordinators with Andy that were on those teams. And then Bieniemy wins Super Bowls. He doesn't get a job. So, like, yeah, I mean, it should be looked at. But again, there's been talk about his past, Bieniemy, that he's got some red flags in his past. So I don't know, but whatever. So you don't like Deuce Staley. That's an unpopular opinion.
Well, I don't. I just, when he was with Chip, he would be the one that was rotating the running backs in and out, and so Chip's calling the plays, but doesn't know what running back's going to be in the game. So like that made no sense to me. And it's
especially especially with Chip, how controlling he was. Do we really believe that he allowed Deuce to do whatever the hell he wanted?
Yeah, and it was just like you would have DeMarco Murray. You'd have him in pass plays, then you have Sproles doing like 1 yard dives. I'm like, what? Like, Like what? You paid them to do the opposite thing.
It was so stupid.
And then Deuce would get up there and be like, "Oh, well, I thought he was good for this play." It's like, no.
It was so stupid when they would use them in opposite roles that they should have used them in. Chip's an idiot. I think that's what we learned about Chip Kelly is that not that he's not intelligent, but he's not at all. He just had a gimmick, and it was get up to the line of scrimmage, wear the defense out, and then they learn how to beat it. Fake injuries, do whatever else you got to do. And then by the end of his second year, they were picking out the plays that were coming. The offense was so basic. And now he's failed. And UCLA's not an easy place to win. And he actually brought respectability back there. He didn't do a bad job at UCLA, but there's a reason why he's an offensive coordinator at Ohio State now. The best job he's going to get.
I still can't believe he did that. Like, I couldn't imagine giving up a UCLA head coaching job to be an Ohio State head coach.
Yep. Yeah, he did.
Offensive coordinator, sorry.
Well, it's happened a couple times now. The Boston College head coach
that's different, though. That's a Boston College head coach to Packers DC is a different jump.
But Ohio State offensive coordinators like being it's the closest thing to being a pro coordinator that's out there. You know what I mean? You're right. It's still college football, but UCLA sucks. But the games he's going to be
it's still UCLA
playing at. But UCLA sucks. No one even goes to the game. I've read a couple in-depth articles on Chip
and they're going to the Big Ten this year.
The NILs, they're going to get smoked there. The NILs that have come to the college game, Saban retired because of it. Saban would have probably coached another year or two, but these kids are more focused on. There's ESPN.com did an article on it, like why did Saban leave? And Saban even said in an interview that after they lost in the semifinal game this year. Like the kids didn't take it like they used to. It wasn't the same. And he said that the conversations that he had with his team, and he said, I don't have any problem with it. This is just where college football is today. Right. The questions he was getting were like, how much playing time am I getting next year because I'm going to transfer? Or how much money am I getting paid? It went from being where Nick had all the control and they were scared of him because if they wanted to leave, they had to wait a year to them saying, hey, what's my playing time or I'm leaving? He said, I'm retiring, man. I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, no, I'm out.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about how a lot of the college coaches have been wanting to get to the NFL so they didn't have to deal with that.
Now's a good time to do it for sure. Yeah, it is. All right, we're going to play it. We need at least some music to bring the new segment in. Do we have some? Will it work? This doesn't sound good at all. This is what it's called, though. Unpopular opinion. I'm going to read something. Let's try a different one.
There we go.
I'm going to read something that is considered an unpopular opinion, and you'll agree whether it's unpopular or maybe you share the same opinion. All right? Make sense?
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it. Dunkin' Donuts has the worst coffee and donuts.
Bullshit. Their coffee's awesome. Starbucks, worst coffee by far. Hate Starbucks.
I like Dunkin' Donuts coffee much more. I like Starbucks iced coffee more than Dunkin' Donuts coffee. I still like Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. I like Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee over Dunkin' Donuts regular coffee.
Team on both sides.
All right.
Caramel cream and sugar, baby. Love it.
Is that where you go? You just get a souped up, sweet, lots of sugar.
Injected into my veins.
Donuts at Dunkin' Donuts are fine. They're not great.
Yeah. Give me a strawberry frosted every day, baby, because it's just about what I do anyway.
Is that what you do? Strawberry frosted and coffee?
Yep.
Are you a daily Dunkin' customer?
Nah, like 2 or 3 days a week. Depends on how late I wake up.
All right, so how about this? Egg sandwiches at Dunkin' better than the egg sandwich at Starbucks. That Starbucks egg sandwich is too greasy and too heavy.
I don't think I've ever had an egg sandwich from Starbucks.
No, I don't think they're good at all. The Dunkin'...
I've never had one.
The Dunkin' on an English muffin with the bacon, egg, and cheese on an English muffin, it's not offensive. It's very easy to eat. It tastes pretty good. You know what I mean? Because it's warm. So I disagree with this. But, I mean, like, I'd rather... I mean, where else would you go for coffee? Dunkin' Donuts, I'd rather go to Dunkin' Donuts and Wawa for coffee.
Yeah, I don't mind Wawa, but that would... I
don't think it's good, though.
Yeah, I get Wawa coffee if that's where I'm at that moment. I'm not going there to get coffee. Like if there's a Dunkin' down the street, I'm going to drive down the street.
Right. Now, Dunkin's bathrooms aren't as nice as Starbucks bathrooms, though. I will say that. The Starbucks bathroom experience is good.
I haven't been in a Starbucks since you made me do the Eagles chant at the Fanatic 8 years ago.
What did I make you do? I don't even remember.
It was a Monday. I think it was the Eagles were playing the Giants on Monday. And you made me drive down to the city and just do Eagles chants at random places. And you're like, yeah, walk into the Starbucks and just do an Eagles chant and like out of dead silence. And then that's where everything went downhill from there.
That's when you didn't get hired after that?
Yep.
Did you go to which Starbucks did you go to? City Ave?
No, I was down I think I was right by Rittenhouse.
Oh. See, they wouldn't let you do that today. Even in 7 or 8 years, oh no, they wouldn't let you do anything. They're so worried about getting sued or in trouble.
Oh yeah.
No way. All right.
I think but literally that might have been the last time I was in a Starbucks.
Yeah, you don't look like a Starbucks guy.
No.
All right, unpopular opinion. There's nothing wrong with having pictures of your ex on your phone. Do you think it's
whatever?
Have you taken? You're also you're now dating somebody. You're in the early stages, Amazon love, but like when you've had a serious girlfriend, have you deleted pictures off of your phone from your ex-girlfriend?
Well, I haven't actually had too many girlfriends anyway, but like I don't delete anything. I have everything. So it's not like I'm looking at them, but I'm gonna have to scroll for days to get to pictures of my ex on my phone. Like they're in there, but they're not readily available.
Do you go on social media and delete?
No. Not that I have anything on there either. But,
don't you have to take
delete?
Don't you have to take off your profile for the most part, if you have a lot of photos with your ex on the Instagram, so I would take that off. Thankfully, I don't have any pictures of any ex on anything because I never had a girlfriend when the social media was there before my wife. So I don't have to worry about that. But I would definitely take the pictures off of Instagram. I'm not saying every picture, but any type of couples picture where we're posing on vacation in bathing suits or something. No, I'm totally taking that off.
I mean, I have nothing on Instagram, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like if I was in that situation, I would leave it because it's like, all right, that was part of my life. It is what it is.
All right, fair enough. I wouldn't like it if my wife had pictures of her ex-boyfriend.
I mean, it all depends on the time frame of it. It all depends on the time frame of it too. It's like if my last 4 pictures are my ex, then that's one thing. And then it's like, oh, now I'm posting somebody else. That's a little bit weird. But if they're just sporadically in the feed somewhere, then I don't know. I feel like that's not bad.
Do you look at the profile of your significant other when you start dating them, or just like either when you start dating or when you're dating and you're stalking all the pictures and looking at exes and things like that, or do you not look on purpose? Like I wouldn't look because I don't want to see. You know what I mean? I don't need any.
I look at the most recent stuff. Like I would look at the most recent stuff. I'm not digging deep here.
So maybe a year or two pass, and then if you saw a picture
at most, I'm not going 5-6 years deep here.
So if your new friend had pictures on her phone of her ex-boyfriend from, let's say, a year ago or so, that you'd be okay with that?
It's whatever. It's like as long as it's not like the background of your phone. Or like if they text you and it pops up like a picture of you guys kissing or something, like that would be weird.
Okay. All right. Unpopular opinion. Martial arts gives out way too many black belts. It's dumb.
I have one.
See, yes.
I have a black belt.
This is spot on.
I have a black belt.
You have a black belt
I will kick your ass. Tang Sudo.
What's that?
It's Korean, I believe.
So from the minute you started doing this, how long did it take you to get a black belt?
I was a kid.
So right there. No.
Yeah, but I still know all of it.
Here's who should get black belts. People that are actual, almost like it's like the Hall of Fame. If you couldn't wreck somebody, adults, if you couldn't be Steven Seagal or to that level, you shouldn't get a black belt. That's the way, that's the way I view martial arts.
Oh, there's definitely different ranges of, well, see, the thing is, it's a lot of, like, getting the black belt, though, you're putting your time and effort and dedication into it. It's not something you could just get in a year or two, you know? So I think it's more.
You have to go through the program and pay the money, and then they give you the belt.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, I was
you
probably
can beat anybody up.
I was probably doing it for like 8 years.
Wow, that's a long time. Well, you deserve a black belt then.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's something, like, I think it's showing the dedication to something more so than anything. Yes, there's definitely tiers to black belt. Like, you shouldn't be like a 4th degree black belt and not be able to beat up a pigeon.
There you go. Black suspenders on Sean, not black belts. They do not. I don't think they have karate at the YMCA. So you have to go through tests, and that's how you get it. Like, you have to do a spin kick to get to a brown belt or something.
There was the black belt test was nuts. It was like a couple hours. It was a lot of fighting, a lot of different situations.
Yeah, I'm out.
And mine probably wasn't even nearly as crazy as some of the ones that are out there.
I'm out. All right, couple more here.
Yeah, I haven't done it in half my life ago.
Toxic positivity is as bad as negativity.
It's worse.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with you, Steve. I agree.
It's worse. I'd rather people just be negative.
Yeah, be yourself. Be negative, miserable pricks on social media that are just being miserable out there and being a dick, as opposed to some loser that's telling like, "Good morning. No matter what anybody says, you are beautiful, and you matter. Always remember that." And they don't know who they're tweeting to. They're not texting that to a friend who's going through a hard time. It's just crap, as it's called, toxic positivity. It bothers me too.
Yeah, 100% out on toxic positivity. That's a great take.
And sometimes things should suck, and it's not.
I'd rather someone just tell me I'm a shithead than be like, "Oh, you're a great person." It's like,
But it's also for that, like, it only can be positive. Guess what? There's times where you should be negative or mad. It's okay to have bad days. That makes the good days that much better. You think I have great days all the time? No, there's days where I'm very negative with stuff. But that's what I tell my wife is that's why when you get a win, you got to take a win. You know what I mean? When you get wins in life, enjoy them a little bit. Because like right now, I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I doing next? Am I gonna this, do that, blah, blah, blah. Like, when you get good news, you take the good news, right? All right, but I'm not. I do not. People should not pressure other people to be positive. Let people be people. Damn it. All right, last one. Unpopular opinion: moving in with a boyfriend, girlfriend too soon is a good thing. So in other words, it's saying it's a good thing to move in early with your boyfriend, girlfriend.
No. I need to know what I'm getting into.
So how long would be too soon for you? Is 6 months a good cutoff between too soon and not too soon?
I would. That was the exact number I was thinking.
3 months seems like would be really too soon. 6 months seems like it'd be like.
You got to do like the getaway weekend in there. You get like, so you're living together, but you're not living together.
You need to take a vacation. See, I believe this, that like 6 months is okay, but it also depends on, like, are you both living separately and your leases are up and it's like, well, let's just get a place together rather than get two separate places again. There are circumstances behind some of this stuff, but a lot of times you're just like, the girlfriend spends a lot of time over the boyfriend's apartment or vice versa. And then when the lease ends or something, you just end up moving in or whatever.
Yeah, if it's a situation like that, that's one thing. But
I don't think
you already kind of know each other at that point.
Right. I don't think you should meet somebody like you both live at home. You meet somebody and you move out after 1 month and get an apartment.
That's way too soon.
Don't put your names on a lease after knowing each other for a month. If you move into his place or something, or she moves into your place, then it's like whatever. They just move out. But if now you're on a lease and now you got to get off the lease and blah 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 blah. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
my sister-in-law and her husband, from when they met, they were married a year later. Engaged after 6 months, married after a year. And we were like, after 6 months, we're like, well, like I certainly would never do that. But he was like, she's like exactly what I'm looking for. I love her. Like, I want to start a family. She feels the same way. So now they have 3 kids. They've been married. I forget how many, and they're happily married. So I don't know. It's weird. I also saw this other post up about like high school sweethearts, and someone was saying that they have pity or they feel bad for high school sweethearts that got married because they never
had to do anything. They never
experienced life. They never had multiple relationships, and like they just fell in love in high school and just that was it. So you do you pity high school sweethearts that got married? Maybe pity's not the right word.
See, I know, but the thing is, like, I know a few that really worked, and then I know a few that went really bad. So I don't know.
Jack Fritz and his wife, they met in high school. They're high school sweethearts. They got married.
It's like if you told me I had the situation that was one on the good end, I would take I would take that and not be like and give up the rest of everything else.
No, I'll be the old dad, but it was worth it for the first 35 years of my life. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying I didn't have fun, but
I would have, but also like Steve.
But if you met the right person, you met the right person. That's the way I look at it.
How many people get divorced? Like that's the thing with me. I could never have married my high school sweetheart and gotten married and it worked, and we would have been happy. I don't know, everybody's different.
That's what I'm saying. I've seen some bad ones, and then I've seen good ones. If you gave me the good ones, I would take the good ones.
You'd be divorced twice if you got married to a high school sweetheart. You'd be working on your third.
Oh,
if you got divorced, would you get married again?
Oh, I haven't even came close to once. So
right, I know it's hard for you, but I'm almost 50, so I.
All right. Well, you're saying if like hypothetically speaking, if I was already like if I'm me right now and I was already married once, I would get married again.
Yeah. Like right now you're divorced.
Yeah, if it's me right now, 32, divorced, no kids, I would get married again. Yeah. But if it was like 40, then probably a different story.
All right. Well, lucky for me, I'm not getting divorced, Steve. But that was another unpopular opinion.
That is still to be determined, buddy.
Well, so I've learned that it's weird. You would think that working on WIP for a long time and the Fanatic before that most people would have known me from working on terrestrial radio. However, in the parent group of now my wife and I, because like the kids, so you don't do this until you get kids, and then my wife, who has been really home with the kids since they started school, like you're a little bit more involved at school, and so you get to know moms, and you get to know other moms, then you get to know the husbands or whatever. So now, like, you socialize, you hang out, they have picnics and parties, you go to the picnics and parties, you become friends, right? So I don't think these people, most of them, listen to me on the radio, maybe until not the end. So
they probably wouldn't be friends with you if they did.
Well, here's what I'm saying is that I've said some things on here that I probably on radio I can say because people didn't take me too seriously on radio because they listened to me and they realized that they shouldn't take me too serious. I'm just kind of messing around. And I say things on here and I'm getting these viewers that are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe he's talking like that." So here's what you need to know. And I'm not going to do a lot of that talking like that anymore. Here's what you need to know. If you watch this and you're friends with my wife and you text my wife, don't text her. Don't text her about any content that you see on the show because it's going to be taken out of context. You're going to think it was really funny and that's why you're texting her, but she's not going to think it's funny at all. And it's just going to lead to 24 to 48 hours of hell for me. Okay. So if you watch this and you know my wife, don't text her. And Steve, I'm not saying anything offensive. Anyway, I'm just saying the rule of thumb. And I had to say this on the radio. I had to say this on the radio. I had to say this on the radio too. Stop texting my wife. She doesn't know what we're talking about, and it's out of context. I'm sorry I spoke over you.
I'm saying you're going to get in trouble for this anyway, just because you're telling people not to text, or if someone texts her and saying, "Oh, no, John said not to tell her."
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm just trying to make people understand that don't take me too seriously with some of the stuff that I say. Like everybody can relate to everyday conversations of our lives, and unfortunately, what I have to get in my head is that now there's like I have kids in school and other families and stuff like that. It's like I maybe can't talk like I've been doing FM radio for the last 15 years. So it's all right. I gotta evolve, Steve. Just like I used to ride in the back of my dad's pickup truck when I was 5. I can't do that with my kids. So I can't continue that.
Those were better days, buddy. They were better days.
Yeah, no seatbelts. He's smoking cigarettes right in the car with me. Yeah,
I still don't wear my seat. Still don't wear my seatbelt.
Come on, dude.
I hate seatbelts.
Come on.
They're the worst. Unpopular opinion. I hate seatbelts.
That's not. It's stupid.
I'm not saying
your life.
I don't plan on crashing.
Do you really? Hold on. You can't drive a car without it beeping without a seatbelt on. Do you buckle the seatbelt in so it doesn't?
Both of mine stop after I drive for like a minute.
You're an asshole. Would you wear your seatbelt? What's wrong with you?
I hate them, dude. I really do.
Why do you hate them?
One, I'm uncomfortable. But two, I have a bigger fear of being stuck in the car if it's like on fire and I can't get the seatbelt off than I do of going through the windshield.
The getting trapped in your car with the seatbelt and it catches fire is actually a great excuse.
I put a lot of thought into this over the years.
That is awesome. Yeah, the hair is looking great tonight, man. I noticed it earlier.
I was out for my dad's birthday dinner earlier, so I had to be looking good.
All right, so what's in it? What do you do? What's the secret? Is it hairspray? Is it gel?
It's a little what the hell is it called? It's a
pomade.
It's a matte paste and then a little sprinkle of a powder.
Medium hold. So it
gives
just
it a
gives
nice volume. It's not sticky. Yeah.
Oh man.
Dr. Glad should be taking notes.
People not liking your anti-seatbelt take.
Who do you care if I go through a windshield? You wear your seatbelt, I'm good.
We don't want you to go through the windshield.
No, I'm just saying. Why does anyone care about my seatbelt preferences?
Because we care about you. That's why. ShopEveryLittleDetail.com for custom-made shirts of all types, so my wife can work sun up to sundown making T-shirts because I don't have a job. It's pretty much where I'm living right now.
You got to keep pushing this product.
All right, so listen, last 5 minutes here. We talked about this briefly before, and we're going to start the push for it. Your sister, and if you go to Steve's Instagram page and you stalk his pictures, which I have, you'll see a lot of his pictures are of him and his sister. Steve, your sister passed away how many years ago now? It's been 14 years?
14 years, yep.
And you guys do every year?
It'll be 15 years August, actually, yeah.
So this is 15 this year. So you do a walk and you do fundraising and things like that. Oh, we do a 5K, yeah.
Yeah, we do a 5K run walk up at Bonner and Prendy through Drexel Hill. We've been raising money for the scholarship that's in my sister's name up there for 9 years now, as my dad corrected me the last time we talked about this, since I have a mush brain.
No, so 9 years, and people can check it out and the walk's coming up in 2 Sundays, and we will, and I have it on my calendar. I will be there, and people can donate and do whatever. What's the website? I have to figure out. I just don't know how to put the QR code or something out here so people can use it.
I was trying to figure it out too, because it's like to put it on the ticker. It's it's a pain in the ass. But no, it's runsignup.com, and it's if you search Nicole Gallo 5K, it pops up that way. But if you go to my Instagram, it's on my link. I post it frequently, and it's and the links up there.
So, but it's not on your Twitter because you don't
because I don't tweet.
This is what you should. Here's what you do: post it on your Twitter. So everybody that's watching live, or everybody pin it on your Twitter. Everybody that's watching live,
it'll be for Vince.
And Vince, you're going to need to donate, obviously here. But his Twitter is Gallo3310, or his Instagram sgallo33. He'll pin it up there, and that way you can go right to the site, and you don't have to worry about it. Because you can't. If I post here as a comment, it doesn't allow it to hyperlink or whatever, so you can click on it. So that's coming up in 2 weeks. So if you can donate, that is awesome. If you want to do the walk and you want to meet Delco Steve and maybe some other daily listeners and whatever, so it's coming up in 2 weeks. Palm Sunday, actually coming up.
Palm Sunday, yep, Palm Sunday.
Now, did you do it on Palm Sunday? Is that by design, or it just happened where it was?
No, it's actually usually supposed to be the last Sunday of March, except for when Easter is the last Sunday of March. So then it gets bumped up.
Yeah, so
we don't mind taking over Palm Sunday, but we can't take over Easter.
Right. So yeah, it's Sunday the 31st this year. Yeah, I actually because my wife's Coptic, so we celebrate the Coptic Easter, which is I think this year it's 4 weeks difference. A lot of times it's a
Okay.
week difference or whatever because they're just on a different calendar.
Yeah,
At some point,
they're based off a different scheduling.
right? And don't ask me the schedule of either of them. But
Something about the moons or something. I don't even know.
well, you're a Catholic kid. You shouldn't know about it. You should just know about it, but not really know any
Yeah,
details. You just know
yeah,
about it because that's how you
something
learn
like
about
that.
it.
Something like that.
Seriously, I went to CCD for however many years before you got confirmation. I literally I didn't learn one thing. I didn't retain one thing other than memorizing Hail Marys and Our Fathers and
I don't
all
even
that
think I
stuff.
could say the Hail Mary or Our Father back right now anymore.
You could. It's like riding a
I
bike, bro.
I think I would get stuck.
No,
I
it's like
think I would get stuck.
the national anthem.
Well, no, never like when you'd have to do like the rosary. And did you ever have to do it where someone?
No.
Oh, well, we did that growing up. So I had the first part memorized, and then I would blank on the second part when everyone else was talking because I was like, oh, because I'm not in it anymore. So I would just like hit a point and I'd be like, oh, I don't remember the rest of the prayer.
When would you do that?
It was
In religion
class.
class?
Yep.
Oh yeah. See, the CCD, these poor you would get a 85-year-old dude that's taking, his Thursday night out of it so he can try to teach us about, being a Catholic, and we're just like, more or less fuck you and running around and making fun of people and doing everything else. It was awesome.
So, sorry.
And mess with your desks, the kids that we were in the classroom, take
rearrange all the stuff inside.
Yeah, I would. I'd do it. All right, what do you got on tap this weekend there, Delco Steve? Anything good?
I got a pretty empty weekend actually. Nothing too crazy going on.
No, not a seventh date, or is this?
Nah, she's work weekend.
Working. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Pick it up next week.
My wife is she's away tomorrow night, so she leaves tomorrow. She'll be away tomorrow night with her girlfriends
for her 40th, right?
Yeah, she turned 40 last month, or we're in March, in January, but yeah, so they planned something so everybody could go. It's just for a night. It's rammed in for one night, but yeah, so I'll have the kids tomorrow night. I'm meeting up with one of the other dads that his wife's going up with my wife, so we're gonna have six kids at dinner, 6 daughters too at dinner, and then we're going to it's Arnold Family Fun Center, which is by me. It's just this really dirty and disgusting arcade / like it's disgusting too. But they have go-karts and games and stuff like that. So
they got beers for the dads.
They have beers for the dads. Yes.
There you go.
Yep. It's not too bad. All right. Well, listen, enjoy, man.
You too, my brothers.
Yeah. I'll talk to you
stay dry tomorrow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be miserable tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, follow, comment, subscribe at John Marks Media, and again, like, do whatever. Yes, like everything. Hate, like, and get on Steve's Twitter and his Instagram. He's going to put the web address for Sisters 5K. All right, everybody, have a good weekend and take care. Talk to you.